I know it's impossible, but I really hope for very constructive and rational comments in this video, because this isn't about me really like listing why I think Series X is better. No, it's not that. It's just me listing the reasons that I personally, because admittedly I was a little bit on the fence, but after the past few months of just seeing what these guys are doing and finally pulling the curtain on some things, I just want to share the reasons that I personally decided to go with the Series X specifically. Not just like it over PS5, but also why I wanted it over the Series S. And if you want to stay tuned on my thoughts on the console, as well as Halo and Smash and other things, all geek game related, you know, then yeah, you should consider subscribing. Yeah. Not really, I do appreciate it though. The first thing I wanted to talk about a bit is backwards compatibility. That is something to me that is super important when I upgrade to the next console. I remember the days where I went from a PS2 to a PS3 and a 360 to an Xbox One. Something that I really cared about is, am I gonna be able to play these next games on this console? Am I gonna be able to carry things forward? And while I wasn't able to do that on the One when it launched, things changed over time, and the Xbox One knocked it out of the park in terms of backwards compatibility for games.
Backward compatibility.
You can play 360 and original Xbox games on the Xbox One, and the Series X is going to be able to play all those games as well. It's great to hear that the PS5 is going to be able to do that too with 99% of the PS4 catalog, but it's saying you probably won't be able to do that with PS3 or PS2 games. Also, I don't have to buy new controllers because all of my Xbox One controllers, I have 3 of them, will work with this system. So once I get this box, I will have 4 controllers. If I ever want to have a party, I'm good, I'm set, I don't have to spend another $200 on controllers. And back to those games, I know that these games are going to run the best possible way they can be run on these systems when I get the Series X. It's going to be peaking the performance of these games. We're already seeing that in the previews of media outlets getting these consoles. And the PlayStation 5 says that they're going to do something similar, but if you read the blog, it says select titles when it comes to what's going to get boosted. And also the game saves, they say it's dependent on the developer. So the first reason I'm choosing a Series X is I feel completely safe selling my Xbox One S because the Series X will be able to do everything it can do and a lot more. But let's talk about the system. Let's talk about the upgrade factor of it as the next point. This next generation, I really want to embrace like what is the 4K 60 frame era and what is the console that's gonna get me there the easiest and most efficient and best way. And you know, it just really does seem like that's a Series X at this point. Now, yes, both these consoles are gonna be able to do 4K 60 frames, but after the teardown and everything and knowing the specs of these systems, the thing that I like a lot more about the Series X versus the PS5 in particular is there is no variable clock rates. The PS5 is going to have variable clock rates to, you know, kind of micromanage things and just have the game running the best way it can without going overboard. Whereas the Series X, it's not going overboard, it's just running at a consistent power rate because this is a beast of a console. It has the teraflops to do that. It has the architecture to do that. And it is just running not only at a rate that is more powerful than the PS5, but also consistently. That is going to mean a lot less dips in frame rate. That is going to mean games can run ray tracing a bit easier. And it's just overall the most powerful console on the market if you're not a PC gamer. And when I get cross-platform games that are going to be available for both platforms, I want the one that's gonna be running it the best way. So reason number 2 I'm getting the Series X is I feel like I'm going to be playing cross-platform games the best way possible. But how am I aware of backwards compatibility and what the hardware is doing? That kind of leads me to my third point being the transparency and the direction that Xbox is going. Something I really appreciate this go around is, yes, the Xbox One launched at a very, let's just be frank here, bad state. Xbox has had to earn their fans' trust back, which they have been, and it's been really nice to see not only them do that in addressing their weaknesses by, you know, people say, oh, they don't have games. Guess what? They have more than tripled the amount of studios that they have. That is just not a valid argument anymore because they hit their weakness, and it's still in the like development circle of life or whatever, but they're just also modernizing gaming as a whole. They have xCloud streaming now in which you could just game without a console. If you want to get a PS5, that's great. The Xbox console is not just a console, it is an entire ecosystem. And that ecosystem, you could play games streaming with xCloud and just it being on your phone, on your tablet. It'll soon be just able to be streamed on your computer. And again, if you don't want to get an Xbox, that's fine. fine because you can play their games on your PC. They are really heavy on crossplay. Xbox is just, of the big three anyways, they are just so damn adamant about crossplay, and I love that. And they're really making a stand for people in terms of this transition and upgrades and whatnot, for people not having to buy new controllers, for people not feeling left behind, and for people just not feeling included. So reason number 3 is just ignoring hardware and games and all that stuff, all the technical stuff. I just feel like I am being taken care of as a gamer on this platform. And I'm just so damn grateful for all the innovative, ambitious, and philanthropic stuff Xbox is doing. It's not just about the games to me. However, games are insanely important. I mean, that's what you get these consoles for, so let's talk about the games. One of the biggest reasons I got an Xbox One over a PS4 is because I found out my 2 favorite franchises were gonna be on the Xbox One. Kingdom Hearts 3 and Halo 5 were gonna be on the Xbox One. That's why I got it. And Halo is still gonna be Xbox. I'm very much looking forward to Halo Infinite, and I want to see more from Halo and also other franchises that I like on Xbox. But kind of a general picture thing is that multiplayer is my jam, and Xbox just seems to be a lot more about that than PlayStation is. I really appreciate that. And like I said, crossplay and first-party titles is something that Xbox is striving for between Sea of Thieves and soon to be Master Chief Collection and their newer thing, Bleeding Edge, and they just are about to add it to Minecraft Dungeons. I got a buddy of mine that only plays Gears 5 on his PC, and I can play with him on my Xbox. But it's not just about multiplayer. Xbox single-player games are vastly on the way, if not already here, with the numerous amount of studios these guys have. I'm really looking forward to Obsidian and Ninja Theory in particular. These are 2 studios that have so many accolades, and I'm just they're gonna knock it out of the park, I think, for their single-player stuff. I mean, heck, Obsidian just got nominated for Game of the Year with Outer Worlds. And who knows what the heck the initiative is gonna be like with the freaking Grand Slam team that they're assembling there. I mean, heck, they just got somebody from Naughty Dog to go over there. And Xbox is now known to be the home of Western RPGs because they just hit the final straw for me. That was honestly like the big play that made me hardcore go to Xbox, which is they acquired Bethesda, all their game studios, and all their IPs, and that means we could expect Doom, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Prey, a ton of other shit. That's all we could expect for being in the Xbox ecosystem now. And getting to play these games in the biggest, best way possible, that has me excited. So the 4th reason is I am very excited to see what comes from all these numerous studios, which, by the way, is like 10 more than PlayStation has. There's a car alarm outside. I don't know if you can hear that. The 5th and most important point to me, though, is the thing that you are just constantly hearing, but it's being brought up for a reason. That is Xbox Game Pass. I just talked about the things I'm excited in the gaming scene, but I don't have to purchase all these games full price to play them because I'm a Game Pass subscriber, and I get these games day one at launch for free because I'm just a Game Pass person. It still blows my mind to think that Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield are just going to be at my fingertips and I didn't have to buy the game. There are so many games that I have experienced in just this past year alone thanks to Game Pass. I discovered my 2 greatest and favorite indie games of all time being Outer Wilds and Undertale, and just got to try out so many things that I never would have before. And it actually leaves me a bit more of a budget to get additional stuff. Like Minecraft Dungeons, that game looked fun to me. I would have never bought it on my own, but I got to play it and I played a lot of it. And because I didn't buy the game and I really liked it, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna buy the DLC. So I did. I bought the 2 DLCs and I'm really enjoying them. And not only did they get Bethesda, but they added EA Play. I don't know how they got that to happen, but you get a basic membership of EA Play included with Game Pass and this is going to start on the day of the Series X and S's launch, and they get to play the Xbox Game Pass catalog across all these devices. That is like the streaming PC and Xbox. So thanks to the 23 studios that they have, EA Play, Bethesda, and all that shit, I don't feel like I will ever have a shortage of things to play. That is just fact. Like, I'm not even gonna touch like 90% of these games, but they're just always there for me to choose constantly. And you know, honestly, I already prepaid for like 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate, so I'm kind of just stuck in that ecosystem for a while. I ain't complaining because I freaking love it. 2 other things though that I felt like bringing up is just the quick resume. I freaking love that, which is basically this feature that lets you bounce around between multiple games. It's mostly single player games, that's where it's gonna work, but it's just nice that you get to bounce around between all these games and not have to deal with the loading screen and the startup and the boot times and all that. It's just, they're all running continuously in the background. And when they said that you do not need to do that off of the SSD, but apparently it is all doing it in the system itself, oh, that made me so excited, because that means I could just do it off of my external, and it's the system doing it, not the SSD. It's using the SSD, I'm sure, to like be able to do it, but whew. I really don't get why PS5 hasn't confirmed a feature like that. But the other thing that really makes me happy is the Series X specifically is going to be the biggest internal hard drive of the 4 next-gen consoles between the 2 PS5s and the 2 Series Xboxes. And I want the biggest one, because that thing's gonna fill up quick, and probably gonna have to be recycling a lot for the next couple of years, because SSDs are expensive. But if you're getting a PS5 and completely disagree or have just different reasons why you're getting the system, I would love to know constructively in the comments. I know there's gonna be some folks that just wanna be irrational and emotional and not get logical with their comments, but please do your best to leave logical and constructive comments of why you're getting a PS5, or why you're getting the Series X, or why you're getting the Series S, or the base digital PS5. We'd love to see constructive comments down there, but if you wanna know kind of the longer version of this, you could see me and a couple YouTubers talking about the big differences in these consoles, getting multiple perspectives instead of just me.